Okay, hope you got on well with that one. Our third sentence today is about what you can smell. There are lovely smells around the seaside. Obviously, you've got the smells from the sea, that salty smell. You've got the smells coming from maybe fish and chip shops or ice creams or everyone's coconut sun cream. That's always a lovely holiday smell. But I, again, am thinking about when I went to Hunstanton last with my family, and all over the beach, there was loads and loads and loads of seaweed. I'd never seen so much before. And it's got a really strange smell, really odd, kind of a bit of a yucky smell, really. So I'm going to talk about that in my sentence now. I'm going to talk about the strange smell of seaweed. So I might put that over here. Oh, I can't do that for some reason. Hold on. Let's just move that over there. Okay, so the strange smell of seaweed is a very yucky looking thing as well, isn't it? There we go. Now for this sentence, we're really going to focus on similes. Now, similes are used to compare two different things, and they use the words as or like to show how things are similar. So you might have heard ones like as busy as a bee, or they stomp like an elephant. I know I'm always telling my children not to stomp up the stairs. I say you're sounding like an elephant. So we're going to try and use a simile to describe this funny seaweed that we're seeing on the beach. So this strange smell of seaweed. Now I want to sort of create that visual image in my reader's mind, and I want them to know that the seaweed is on the ground, it's not in the sea, it's all over the sand. And I want them to think about the smell, so to really understand that we're using our senses. So the strange smell of seaweed drifts past my nose. Making sure they're really thinking, drifts past my nose. As I walk, so make sure they know it's on the ground, as I walk past small piles of seaweed. But it looks all weird, doesn't it? It's all like twisted and tangled and curled up. So as I walk past small piles, I'm going to put a word in here, of tangled seaweed, all curled up. Like, what would be all curled up? All curled up I can compare it to. So the strange smell of seaweed drifts past my nose as I walk past small piles of tangled seaweed, all curled up like, could be like a ball of wool, couldn't it? That's all like curled up and tangled together. But wool's kind of fluffy, the seaweed's all wet and soggy. I'm not really sure that quite works. Could be a ball of wet wool. And wet wool is really nice because it uses some alliteration. But actually, I've got a better idea. I think it'd kind of be like a plate of noodles. So I'm comparing that plate of noodles all curled up and tangled together like the lumps of seaweed on the ground. So the strange smell of seaweed drifts past my nose as I walk past small piles of tangled seaweed, all curled up like plates of noodles. Could have been spaghetti, couldn't it? Okay, I've got my simile there. I'm comparing the seaweed and the noodles. Right, what I need you to do now then is pause again. Go and have a think about what smells you might smell when you're standing on the beach. Okay, lots and lots of different smells. And then think about what you can compare either the smell to or the thing that is smelling. What's it like? Be really careful that it does definitely make sense, because sometimes we get a bit muddled here and we might say, as black as a dog. Well, that might work if the dog is black, but not all dogs are black, so it doesn't quite work well enough. If you say as black as coal, that's a much stronger simile, because we always associate coal with being black. Okay, pause the video and we'll be back to finish the last sentence in a little while. Okay, last sentence. So this is a really nice one because we get to use verbs and adverbs in this. Now, verbs are those words like action, doing words, how we move and how we are and what we do with ourselves. So it's things like sit, stand, jump, hop, all those kind of movement words. But then the adverbs tell us how we're doing the action. So if we choose walk, we all know how that movement looks. Okay, it's a walk, but to give a real good description to your reader when they're looking at your sentences, you need to say how they're walking so that you're creating a really clear visual image. So we could say walk slowly, walked quickly, walk rapidly, walked carefully or cautiously. Okay, and that just gives a better description. I'm going to look at people walking along the beach. I think it's quite a romantic thing to do, to walk along the beach. So it could be a couple of people, maybe an elderly couple, and they're holding hands, walking along the beach. So they're really happy. We need some positive adverbs here. Starting with the verbs though, so I definitely want to say walk, but that's not the strongest adjective I could use, I don't think. What other verb, sorry, said adjective verb, but what other verbs could I use instead of walk? I need some synonyms. So we might have stroll along the beach. I could meander along the beach. I know my class love that word, meander, to take a winding path. We might skip along the beach. That's a really positive verb. Not sure the elderly couple would skip along the beach, but it's a nice verb. We could take a wander, slow wander along the beach. I think I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to have stroll. So my elderly couple, I'm picturing them strolling along the beach, hand in hand. And how are they going to stroll? So they might go slowly. They might walk quickly. They might, oh, goodness me. They might move rapidly. They might move very carefully. They might have to walk around lots of things. And we want to make sure we're getting that happy image. So happily, merrily. This one is a lovely, lovely word though. Blissfully. It makes me think of like super, super happy, feeling really good. So I'm going to choose that one, blissfully. So they're going to blissfully stroll along the beach. Right, let me put this sentence together now. So starting with, sorry everybody, we need it a bit bigger than that, don't we? Okay, so an elderly couple. Now notice here that I've started with an, not a, because elderly the word starts with a vowel. So whenever it starts with a vowel, we must use an instead of a, like an elephant, an apple. Okay? Every word that starts with a vowel needs an rather than a. So an elderly couple, let's put in our verb, stroll blissfully along the beach. Sounds great, doesn't it? And I'm going to make it really romantic. I'm going to say holding hands. Oh, lovely. Or we could say hand in hand. Either. Let's change it. Let's have hand in hand. Ooh. So an elderly couple stroll blissfully along the beach, hand in hand. Now, the great thing about adverbs is that you can move them. You can move them around in your sentence and make it sound really, really quite posh and grown up. That's what we like in year 3, to sound really grown up. So we could take this word blissfully and we could move it to the beginning of the sentence. Blissfully, an elderly couple stroll along the beach hand in hand. Now, if I'm going to choose to do that, there's some punctuation that I need to sort, isn't there? I'm sure some of you have spotted it already. So my sentence needs to start with a capital letter. I don't need a capital letter here anymore, but what I do need is a comma after my adverb. So blissfully, an elderly couple stroll along the beach hand in hand. I might put an adjective in there to make it sound much nicer. Blissfully, an elderly couple stroll along the warm, sandy beach, not snady, sandy beach, hand in hand. Lovely. Now that's my final sentence for today. Can you do the same? So you need to find a bank of verbs that you might use. Think of some adverbs that you might use. Think about what's happening on the beach. How are people moving around you? What are they doing? And then create your own sentence. Once you've done that, see if you can do what I did and move your adverb to a different part of the sentence. Make sure it still makes sense, and then you can decide which way around it sounds the best. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Apologies for any technical hitches there, but I really look forward to seeing what you've been doing. So if you want to share it with your teachers or share it on Twitter, that would be fantastic. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you soon.